Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Spook Manor. This week, I have quite the whale of a tale for you. It is the story of a bored little boy in search of an adventure who gets more than he bargained for as he stumbles upon the icy waters of the Alaskan shoreline. Would you care to join me as we take a deep dive into the great unknown? Then let's begin. Randall is a bright young boy of 8 years old who has already seen more of this immaculate planet than most adults. His father, a wealthy man from South Florida, has searched the globe for the most amazing places anyone could imagine, and little Randall stayed his constant companion. On rare occasions, when the adventure he planned was too dangerous for a small child, Randall's father would have to leave him behind with a babysitter, and this was one of those occasions. It is on the icy shores of Alaska where our story takes place. Randall sits with a hot cup of cocoa in a massive log cabin where hunting trophies adorn the walls. The mansion features towering glass windows that face the water as it sits upon a hill. A cozy fire roars in the large stone fireplace, while his babysitter, old grandmother Agna, is telling him stories of Alaskan Inuit folklore. Sitting on the large brown leather couch, Randall is politely listening with wide eyes as she speaks of Illy, Alaska's version of the Loch Ness Monster, and the Bushman Tornet, also known as Bigfoot, who has coincidentally just been seen in the area. But it is when little Randall asks if there is a creature that would hum from the water, Grandmother Agna frowned. Inquiring as to why he would ask, he casually stated, "When I was playing earlier, I heard a humming coming from the water, and I wanted to go see what it was." Grandmother Agna's eyes grew big, and her face flushed pink. She ominously replied, "That is the Qalupalik. They like to trick nice little boys like you. If you get too close to the water, they will take you forever. Some say they will eat you, or that they will hold you captive and consume your life force in order to stay young. Or, worst of all, they will make you brush their long, slimy black hair for all eternity." She finished her tale with a laugh and dove in for a playful tickle attack. "No, not that!" Randall screamed as he giggled and wiggled from the play. On that note, it was time for bed. But Randall was too excited to sleep. He lay in his bed thinking about all the mysteries this strange land had to offer, and all of the magical creatures waiting to be found by a curious little boy. It had been dark for days now, with the sun barely peeking up over the tips of the immaculate Rocky Mountains off in the distance. In his mind, he didn't truly know when it was day or night since coming here, and this disrupted his sleep patterns terribly. He peered out of his window at the vast night sky from where he lay in his bed and watched it sparkle with the brightest stars he had ever seen. It was when green lights began to flow across the celestial bed like ocean waves that Randall decided to get up for a closer look. The aurora borealis was awe-inspiring and mesmerizing as it danced gracefully, providing a private show just for him. Quickly, Randall threw on his coat and boots before climbing out of his bedroom window. The trees blocked the moon, and he had to get a better look before the lights were gone. He stood at the water's icy edge and looked up. There was no telling how long he had been there. His little cheeks grew rosy and burned intensely from the frozen air. He could see his breath as it flowed like smoke out of his mouth, and just as he was about to head back in, he noticed the strange humming sound he had heard earlier. The sound was coming from the water again, and a soft splash echoed throughout the crisp night. He stared off across the partially iced over waters in search of what was making the noise. There was something under the ice, something tapping and knocking, something green and fish-like. Randall leaned in for a closer look. He stepped one foot out onto a sheet of ice and gave it pressure. All of a sudden, there was a loud crack and then a pop. The ice had given way from his weight, and a slimy, scaly, webbed hand with long, sharp claws grabbed him by the leg. Screaming from the pain of the icy waters and out of fear for what had grabbed him, he looked deep into the creature's face. It had long, sleek black hair and eyes darker than onyx. It appeared to be a woman and had an Inuit sash for carrying babies wrapped across its chest. Randall kicked the creature and fought with all his strength, but to no avail. The monster dug its sharp claws deep into his leg and began dragging him into the water. The humming became louder, and as though hypnotized by its sound, the boy lost all ability to fight back. He became limp and watched the stars as the freezing water flowed over his body. Just as all hope seemed lost, a dark form appeared above him and grabbed him fiercely by the arms. An intense tug-of-war began. As the humming subsided due to the struggle, Randall realized that the form trying to save him was none other than old grandmother Acna. Again, Randall started kicking at the monster, but even with their combined strengths, the monster was too strong. Finally, grandmother Acna called out, "I will give you the boy on one condition. You must prove you are Qalupalik and change into another form," she demanded of the beast. Suddenly, a strange, blank expression fell upon the creature's scaly face, and she relaxed her grip on his leg. The monster then stood up in the water, showing her long, clawed arms and legs, and swinging her massive serpent tail with determination. Then the sea creature began to shift, grotesquely bulging in areas, breaking bones and changing the color of its skin. In a short matter of moments, the horrific-looking beast had transformed into a sleek and adorable seal. Grandmother Acna wasted no time in pulling Randall from the water and rushing him back to the mansion cabin. She didn't wait to watch the transformation of the creature. She knew she had tricked the beast, and it was destined to change back and kill them had they not made a grand escape. Grandmother Acna was a master at surviving the Alaskan wilderness and proceeded to care for Randall better than any medic ever could. Laying him down on his bed to rest, she held the little boy close to comfort him. She knew that most people who encounter a Qalupalik rarely live to speak of it. But the moral of the story is this, that if you have a keen mind and a sharp wit, even the most vulnerable of people can overcome that which is seemingly impossible. So tell me, my loves, have you seen the Qalupalik or heard its hypnotizing hum? Have you been to the great shores of Alaska? Please comment down below and like and subscribe for more fictional stories that are often of actual urban legends and sometimes have historical reference. See you next week and have a good night.